Big spike Oreo. They have three really hard skills. We just
Hello, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all to EGF. My name is Keela Miles, and today I am casting with Soy for the second week of EGF.
Oh, Rhoda, it's good to be back. This is going to be fun. Fun week ahead of us.
Yeah, it certainly is, Soy. And we're opening up with Classic right here. Some up north colleges. We got Niagara University versus Iona College right here. Just about ready to get into it. Now, Niagara, we did see last week with their new roster of mostly freshmen start to find their footing. It was very rough, though.
Yeah, I mean, it can never feel good, especially coming into a season getting shut out. So this week we're looking to see, what they can really bring to the table, what building blocks they have in place, what improvements can we see from week 1 to week 2. It should be very fun. Iona, they had a little bit of a struggle last week, less so than Niagara. They fell to, I believe it was Ryder 9-18, but a little bit better of a showing. And so these are two teams where Iona's new to the EGF as well. So very much so a testing ground type of matchup here.
Yeah, very much so. I feel like it could be tough. I mean, Iona, as you said, a bit more of a stable start than last year, but it's the same for both. They're just trying to build their foundation to get farther into the season. I mean, Iona College historically kind of rivals with Manhattan, who there is also going to be playing later today. And so you want to be ready for when that matchup comes. So right now, you're just trying to make sure your roster is all set as we have, opening it up, a pretty strong matchup. It's looking like both teams are electing to send their captains, their anchors forward first, and that's not something you often see, Soy.
No, I mean, typically they, save one of their stronger players for later in the matchup, but it shows that these teams, they want those early victories. They want to get those points on the board, and that's really kind of the goal of these first two matchups, to give yourself a shot later down in the line. So I got to respect it, sending in the captains first.
Yeah, and that big advantage, it's also a mental advantage as well. When you know you're playing from behind, it can either be a blessing or a curse. And I'm curious to see whether these teams, whether these players will crumble under that pressure, or being down, it forces them to rise to the occasion. It's a dangerous game you're playing, taking an early lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you send in one of your top players first, it feels like you're, throwing down the gauntlet, saying, okay, we're going to get an early lead and not allow you to try and come back in this match. But it also puts a lot of faith in the depth of your roster, because you have that kind of spread of, if our first player is going in, then we have to depend on the back lineup of our players to really secure some points or hold off the rest of that roster. So it is important, though, to note that if these are the captains, these are the players that a lot of members of these two teams will look up to for points. These are the guys that really kind of take the face of their respective organizations. And so it's really going to be a tough battle off the start.
Yeah, it certainly is. And right off the start, we are, like we said, going to have the captain of Niagara University. It's going to be Boshi Koopa, who we did get to see right on this stream last week. Now, Boshi Koopa was rocking a pretty mean DK, and, traditionally, not the best thing, because DK, it's infamous that every character has a 0 to death on DK that is discovered on day 1. But here's the thing. We're entering into this era of Ultimate where a lot of people decide, hey, maybe this character is viable after all. But against a combo fiend like Captain Falcon, that actually might be tougher.
Yeah, Boshi Koopa, I mean, it feels like back-to-back weeks he's had terrible matchups, because even in week 1 he was going up against Sephiroth, which is no easy task for him to really get in on. And like you said, Kibbs actually week 1, he had a Falco match in week 1, but here opting for the Falcon, another combo heavy character, and already off to a hot start with that spike.
The instant jump out of disadvantage right there is going to hurt you so much, and now you're eating a lot more damage. Getting the traded up air, but that's not much of a condolences. Bacha's going to get you the down tilt, and there's pretty much no vertical recovery options for DK. Once you're down there, you're down there. So it's an immediate 3-stock lead for Kibbs against, like we said, the captain of Niagara.
Yeah, rinse and repeat on that spike, and now Kibbs has done a really good job of just keeping Bashikupa out. Bashikupa can't seem to find any stray hit to get himself back into neutral.
Yeah, and any stray hits he does get, they're just immediately traded back. Don't run into it. Yep, using the armor right there to challenge that smash attack. You don't want to be caught like that. Not caught sleeping. The nice spot dodge right there to avoid the grab. Understanding Kibbs likes those options out of the corner, but not quite understanding the option that Kibbs likes off stage, because, so is that 3 for 3?
3 for 3, absolutely. 3 down airs, 3 spikes, and that is just a poor matchup for DK. I mean, when you've got that recovery, a player like Captain, or a character like Captain Falcon is just going to go for the spike. It's so tempting every time.
Yeah, especially when you're not really mixing up how you're getting to the ledge. It's always an instant jump off stage from Boshikupa, it seems, but you gotta give credit to Kibbs. The instant capitalization on that Falcon. I mean, it's nonstop pressure.
Absolutely. I mean, and we also saw him adapt a little bit too, because I think the first time we saw him go off stage, he went for a knee, but because of the early recovery, he said, okay, well, if he's going to jump early, let me just get above him and spike him instead. So good adaptation and a well-earned 3-stock there in game 1.
Yeah, an early lead for Iona College, who, like we said, another new-ish member of EGF. A lot of questions around them, especially after a loss. Like 9-18, it's good, but it could mean anything. Like, we've seen some incredibly close matches that the score ends up being like 4-25, where there are always some traded ones where it's like, well, yeah, like, the scoreline, it never tells the full story. It's true in every sport, but especially in the EGF format, where, if you don't know, every stock you win with is a point. And in a best-of-3 set, if you get 2 3-stocks and win, you get 8 points, because winning the set is 2 points on its own.
Yeah, and on top of that too, the minimum amount of points you can earn is 4. So it's one of those things where you can make things back up in a set. You could possibly earn it all back here, but it starts with each individual matchup. And right here, it's up to Bashikupa to get something going. And going for Bowser this time around, well, we'll see.
I do like Bowser because it gives you some options for if you're just getting mashed upon. Getting a little too aggro? Throw out that up B. Getting a little too forward? Happy with yourself? Oh my gosh. Kibbs. It doesn't matter that they're feeling too good about themselves. Tries to go for the stomp knee, but gets the weak. It doesn't matter though. He's still at almost 12%, but when you whiff one move, you're right into the fire breath. That's what I said. One little misspacing, Boshikupa has much better tools to punish it.
Yeah, Bashikupa trying to find their way in now, and this is going to be the key part of that matchup. How does Bashikupa get back to stage? We saw him burn a couple jumps early. That up B going to get punished with the Falcon kick from Kibbs, and so first stock off the board.
And now, a little better from Boshikupa this time, going for the ledge trap, but whiffing that forward air, and then there's another undershooted spike right there, or rather Boshikupa had the dash tap back, but now the down throw nair is going to just chunk on more damage. That forward tilt not quite going to kill thanks to the instant air dodge, and that's in a very aggressive off-stage option. Surprised Boshikupa wasn't punished for it, but they're doing just fine, living life on the edge, which is where they're keeping Kibbs for that matter.
Ooh, nearly landing that down air, and Bashikupa still searching for this stock cleaning up hit. Oh, that was an interesting trade. That up B should do it though, and first stock off the board of Kibbs.
Yeah, it took a long while, which is unusual to see from Bowser, as now you are stuck in disadvantage. Trying to land with the nair right there is not going to work out in your favor, but it would have been a good opening if you had gotten it. Kibbs doing a great job keeping the pressure up. The immediate stomp right there. But the back air not going to connect. Now going for these up airs. Kibbs not giving Boshakupa a moment to breathe, but not catching that tech is going to give them the chance they need.
Yeah, and I also like, for as much pressure as he's applying, he's also being very patient, just kind of waiting to see what Boshakupa does defensively and then punishing as accordingly as he can, getting that back throw there to clean up stock number 2.
Ooh, and the Neo Zero is actually going to be the opening. Kibbs pressuring with these up airs, trying to be as safe as you can, but landing on that platform is an invitation to punish. Not going to challenge that charged up smash, though. Wise decision. And you do get a punish off of that very overeager forward smash, but I don't blame Boshakupa for going for it.
Ooh, that's a lot of air dodges that Boshakupa has used to get back to stage. He's done a good job so far, because Kibbs wants another one of those spikes, and he's got Kibbs at kill percent here, and in the corner. Can he get something here? Whiffs the grab, but no dice. The stop will reset the scenario.
Yeah, and now Boshakupa, the rage is a good thing, but when you're down a full stock like that, and you're not quite close enough to the ledge to get the air dodge, it's gonna hurt big time. A 2-0 from Kibbs. Not quite as dominant in the second game, but it's still a massive lead going into the rest of this set for Iona College.
Yeah, that was really good from Kibbs. I mean, it just felt like that's one of those matchups that is obviously tougher on the heavier character because Falcon just has so many options and so many ways that he can play that matchup and cover all of your options. But as you saw, Kibbs just played it well. He saw what Boshakupa wanted to do and punished accordingly.
Yeah, I especially loved how Boshakupa originally was catching Kibbs a little bit with the Flame Breath, a very frustrating projectile because, again, one misspaced move and you're landing right in front of Bowser with no recourse except to take 40 and walk away. That's really all you can do. There's no hope of punishing it when you're constantly being pushed away like that. So it ended up Kibbs adapting. That's what Kibbs really did. Making sure the spacing was on point, always going a little farther than you think you need to go. And the landing stomp is such a huge reward if you get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And on top of that, too, it's like you said, just everything Boshakupa wanted to do, Kibbs caught on to it. Think back to game number 1. He wants to recover high. Okay, I'll shift from going for knee to going to a stomp. In this match, okay, he's going to air dodge. I'll throw out those F tilts, see if I can catch him. Didn't work, and this time around, the air dodge ended up biting him in the end, but it was an adaptation by Boshakupa that was then read by Kibbs.
Yeah, completely soy. And again, I like the Bowser switch because it did actually make the recovery off stage a lot less exploitable, which is what gave us that dominant 3 stock in game 1. The fact that DK's recovery is so linear and the hitbox is so negligible, especially when you're coming from above, it gave Kibbs too much of an advantage that you could just react and punish even online.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not sure the stage did him any favors either, because even when Kibbs was recovering, he would use that side B to grab the ledge, but because of the kind of awkward slant on Yoshi's story, the hitbox of side B would still come out. So it's not like Boshakupa ever had a great opportunity to try and edge guard Kibbs in that matchup, except for the one time he went off stage, but again, they both were able to make it back.
And I do like the idea behind Yoshi's stories. I mean, if you're playing around spacing moves or forcing your opponent to miss-space moves, using Yoshi's stories to kind of choke Captain Falcon out, that rushdown character can't exactly rush down when there's not too much stage to run on. And the platforms also would interrupt things. Obviously, if you hit an up air, it's game over, but, well, that didn't really seem to be the case a lot of the time. It was mostly just 2 or 3 hit combos coming out from Kibbs. Good using the defensive options on the platforms to really get the tech mix-ups, avoid any true follow-ups from the Falcon.
Yeah, and you saw with those up airs too from Falcon that he was using it for a lot of pressure, but they weren't necessarily connecting. And it's like you said, he would find, one or two hits, and then he'd go for the big spike. He'd go for the down air, he'd go for the knee, and it just was a little bit off on his timing, not quite the right, DI or something along those lines. So that's something that Kibbs will have to look on as we head into the next couple of weeks, is that those are combos that you've got to have down. You've got to be able to eventually connect on that knee or that stomp and keep those reads in your back pocket maybe for later when it's at a higher percent, when it's a more pressure-filled scenario. Those are the things that Falcon does really well.
And that's kind of I almost do want to call it a high-level strat, but it's really not. It's applicable at all levels. But either way, I think we are now getting into our next match. We'll get to see a little bit more of what these teams have to offer as we have another Bowser coming out, as Iona College fielding the Terry instead. The heavies of Niagara College are gonna be hurting.
Yeah, so you got Moat here on the Terry and Crispy here on the Bowser for Niagara. Now, this is another one where Moat, I feel like, has the advantage because of Terry's combo game and because Bowser is such a big body. But on the other hand, Crispy should be able to clean up a few more stocks a little bit easier because Terry's recovery isn't as, or I should say, is more susceptible than someone like Falcon's. But if you can't grab the ledge, that's going to be a rough start for Crispy.
And you could tell that was just an unexpected turn of events. You were expecting to grab on there, and you're like, wait, I'm not on ledge, and by the time you have that thought, you're dead. Now, trying to make Moat in the same boat, carrying them across the stage with that side B, but it's not going to be enough to really get much mileage. It's just single hits. As Crispy playing center stage, not really short hopping a lot to mix up where they are, playing a very grounded game, which is making it easy for a fighting game character like Terry to get in on you.
Yeah, and well spaced there on that side B, cleaning up stock number 2, and Crispy here in a lot of trouble, but he's got Moat off stage.
Yeah, and now Moat is going to have access to the go as long as you can land, of course, but I love the little tip taps right there from Moat as Crispy goes off the edge. Oh no, and that's another 3 stock to Iona College, who are building a massive lead right off the bat. They're coming out swinging.
Yeah, that was a huge victory too, and I have to wonder too if Crispy was either it was just didn't grab the ledge, or he was just a little scared of what Moats might do on the ledge there, because when you have Terry in that position, you could go for something like Power Geyser, which I believe 2 frames, especially on a recovery like Bowser's, but still unfortunate there for Crispy, and good stuff to Moats to get that 3 stock, and like you said, the Gales are off to a big early lead.
And it was really that first combo that opened up everything for Moat. It really felt like you got the touch of death on them, 0 to 94, and you're in their head for the rest of the game. When you lose so much ground so fast and then SD on top of all of it, it's a tough battle to fight. And Moat, obviously, did a great job of keeping the pressure up and not even giving them a moment to breathe, but Crispy, even if it did have that moment, I'm not sure they would have been able to stabilize.
Yeah, that was a rough one for Crispy. You could tell he just could not find really anything to get going, especially like you said after that first stock. And so, but that's something that you have to kind of build up, that mental fortitude, as we see a little bit of a character switch here. Kazuya making his first appearance here in EGFS SSBU.
And Kazuya online is quite a story, but you're able to immediately get the opening there, but the parry is going to give them a chance to build some percent. Crispy, though, that unsafe option on shield, even with the cross-up, is going to be punished hard, and that's a hard smack. I love the little dash back from Moat, playing footsies to perfection, but intelligent enough to not be caught out by that. Even so, 151%, you are 1 hit away from going down, as that is going to be straight off the top.
Yeah, and that was solid stuff to Moat. Great spacing, and he just knows where Crispy is going to go with a lot of these defensive options. It's been a lot of aggressive landings, and Moat's just done a fantastic job of reading that play and knowing what he wants to do.
Yeah, as these are very unsafe options at this point. I feel like it's okay to go for the desperation options occasionally, but when they're your only options, Moat is gonna be in hard. As their proficiency on these characters is something not to be underestimated. I love the overshoot right there from Crispy, but I don't think it's enough. Moat dashing back and forth around this ledge. The aura around them, especially now that they have the raid, is impeccable. Going in for that grab at some point, but yeah, there it is. The finisher. Don't even have to worry at all. Moat has honestly looked so clean against this heavy. I'm sure they can do against other characters too, but Crispy, oh man, Crispy, going up onto stage right there is going to invite you straight into the 10-hit combo, and even Tough Guy can't get you out of that one.
Yeah, and Crispy right now, I mean, you can tell he's in a lot of trouble. This should be a punish. Oh, but he took too long with the forward smash, and now Moat wants the follow-up. There it is, the finisher, the up smash, and another 3-stock from Moat.
Yeah, really, really good stuff from Moat right there. Not coming to play games. They're here to play games, but they're not playing games. You know what I mean. It's 15-0.
Yeah, I think that about sums it up, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely some good stuff coming out occasionally, but in the end, Niagara University really can't find their footing, and Iona College is not letting off the gas. They did not come to mess around, not in the slightest.
Yeah, and that's 2 heavy hitters off the board for Iona, by the way, because Moat last week was one of the players who won their set and earned Iona some points, and you can see why. These fighting game characters, he is very good at, and you can tell he just took full advantage of every opening he got in that matchup.
Yeah, and well, when you keep getting openings like that, they just keep coming. The hits don't stop raining down. As Moat, I feel like we do have to take a minute to just talk about the tremendous awareness that they had of their movement, how close they are to other characters, what they can do out of shield. Because a lot of the time it was not, I mean, it's not like Moat was winning off of random smash attacks. They were getting the opening, the combo starter, but even when they got the combo starter, they did not drop the combo. Like, so many players fish for the combo starter and they hit the falling up air, they hit the grab, and then it's like, oh, there they go. See ya.
Yeah.
Moat, clean on the execution, cool-headed. I'm excited to see more of them in the future, but we got some more representatives from these college father-son battle coming out as Iona sends out their representative on the Bowser Jr.
Yeah, so this is, interestingly enough, we've seen a lot more Bowser Jr.'s this year than we have in any other, kind of making a resurgence here in the EGF, and another Bowser here for the side of Niagara, so we'll see what they can do. Should have, again, that raw kill power that they need to clean up some stocks, but, again, the combo game of Iona is very clean right now.
Yeah, and I love that bait right there with the clown car, but you're not going to get much more out of it as Rat King play around this edge. I love that baiting an option with the fast movement and then punishing it with that disjointed aerial.
Ooh, I actually like that side B too, especially not only landing it and that forward are going to clean up the stock. So Red Saw here with the advantage, or with the stock lead, but the other part about that side B I liked was the fact that he could drift away from the Mecha Koopa on top of that.
Oh yeah, 100% so it is. Now, even though you're down to stock, you do have the make kill percent. The question is, where does the setup come in? Because Bowser Jr. has some great low percent setups for kills, but once you get up there, it can get a little risky unless you run right into that wand as they fall tumbling to the ground.
And that's one of those things where you have to be aware. You got to know that Bowser Jr.'s are going to hold on to that up B for as long as they can until they are within range, and Red Saw just getting a little too greedy for that punish.
Yeah. And look at that right there. Racking gradually building back up the lead that they had for a moment, but again, we saw how easily Red Saw can steal a stock if the time comes down to it. We're going to be caught by that wand yet again. Scaling up a little bit maybe, but right now you're still in some of Bowser Jr.'s amazing kill confirm range. They go for that clown car into the upbeat, but they caught Red Salt out of a short hop, so it wasn't quite the knockback percentage you would want.
Ooh, that was a clean back air too, catching the mistech by Red Sauce. So stock up for Rat King here in Iona, and we'll see what he can do on this next stock too. Low percent means some early combos and early pressure for him.
Yeah, and look at that platform control. Okay. Bowser's off stage and not having a good day, Soy. They are not having a good day at all. And Bowser Jr. taking all the recovery points for their own. And Bowser Jr. does definitely have a better recovery than people give him credit for. With all the mix-ups with Clown Car and Up B, and the fact that if you go for a 2 committal option on ledge, like a smash attack, you're going to get Up B on the stage and hit by that club into a reversal situation. It's scary to contest. And you could see on ledge, Red Salt didn't want to go for too much, but, well, too much is exactly what they ended up going for in the end.
Yeah, I wonder in that scenario if it was they meant to do something like jump and then throw the Koopa and then just buffered the throw a little early or something along those lines. You could speculate, but either way, I do like how Red Sauce started off that game, because even though he did, get comboed at early percents, he was able to find his way back in. He was able to clean up that stock. And one of the huge things is that, I feel like he just got a little greedy, especially on that up B, right? That up B punish from, from Rat King. So if he can just, space a little bit more and just not be as greedy, I think he's got it in him to really give Rat King some struggles this set.
I definitely agree, Soy. As Rat King continues to extend the lead, we're getting to the unwinnable territory at this point for Niagara, so it's looking like their new roster, their hot-blooded roster, might be starting out 0-2. But that's not a terrible way to start out. And you still got time to fight for honor and make some teams be wary of you. Like, hold on, wait, against Iona? Where'd they get those 9 points? That's what you're fighting for. You don't want to be a pushover team. And, I don't think Niagara is that at all quite yet.
No, I mean, the other thing you have to remember, too, is that this roster is completely different from last year. They are just starting brand new, and it could be, we're not 100% sure how long these players have tried to play in the competitive scene for, but this is really their first time in a pressure scenario like this. So this is where we kind of start to see the building blocks of last year. They've got some footage on themselves now in a kind of pressure scenario, and this is where you have to try and learn from your mistakes. But Red Saw off to a very big deficit early.
Yeah, the 2-for-1 combo right there, hitting them up while they were holding the Mega Koopa, is going to use the explosion to finish them off, and it felt like that first game was a warm-up game for Rat King. Look at the punish now that you're more confident in your options. You're still going to get punished by that armored up smash out of shield, but recovering safe and sound thanks to Smashville. Now you're going to get the landing down air, a good combo starter, but it's not going to link into too much at this percent. Is just really good spacing overall. Playing footsies, not overcommitting. That's what you need to see from Rat King when you're just trying to make an unwinnable game for Niagara.
I was going to say I really like the spacing from Rat King, but that's twice now he has been caught out by that up smash from Red Saw. Fantastic stuff by Red Saw to take that stock.
And now, playing around this platform, going to be a little tougher for them. Red Saw is going to get punished right there, but not an unwinnable scenario for Bowser. Just going for the safe recovery with the jump, trying to conserve some resources, but even so, using your jump off stage like that is a little bit scary. Good parry, though, on that option that's come out again and again. Rat King is going to have to respect that at this point. But even if you don't have that one option available to you, you can still get the shield break right there, drilling you straight into the blast zone. It's 2-1 right now, and Rat King, that's some mental damage if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I mean, Red Saw, you can tell he's starting to catch on to some of the movements and some of the options, and oh my, does not even care about the Mecha Koopa, just swing that forward smash, and Rat King now on his last stock.
Red Saw carries them off stage, looking for the early finisher off of that up B, but drifting back, not fully committing to it, is just trying to play the bait game It's like a bootleg spin dash right there. Is you just like, when am I going to come in? When is the burst option going to come out? And really, Red Salt is struggling to find the answer to that. Almost using it like a tomahawk right there, landing without any option and then immediately going for the forward smash. Some nice stuff coming out so far from Red Salt.
Yeah, absolutely. Now this is where things get really dangerous because Red Salt is at that kill percentage at 124. That was a lucky break for him. Tough Guy saving him from the multi-hit of the forward smash, and he's got him at 22, but again, it's just been so difficult for Red Salt to get in on Rat King, and that forward smash should do it off the top. Rat King cleans up the set.
Yeah, and at this point, Iona College, it's a runaway train. Or a runaway clown car, if you would, because it feels like it's a very neutral-based, heavy-based style from Niagara. That's what they love. Winning neutral with a couple big, clean hits and then finishing the stock with a read. Whereas Iona College, they're much more about the practiced punish game. And sure, they're taking some stray hits, they're eating some armored up smashes every now and then, but overall the punish game just delivers the much more consistency than relying on your ability to outplay the player.
Yeah, and on top of that too, you can afford to take some stray hits, especially when you're kind of learning the matchup as you go, right? Because everyone tends to play the character a little bit differently, so you tend to learn, okay, how do I get to that setup? You know, how do I move my pieces around? Like you said, with Bowser Jr., you've got to be able to have that setup at the ledge, and that was something that we saw a lot, right? Gets Bowser off stage and then pressures with the Cannonball and the Mecha Koopa, and just to have that timing down shows his proficiency of the character.
100%. And it makes me wonder what else they've got. Like, we've seen the Captain Falcon combo game, we've seen the fighting game combo, and we have seen the Bowser Jr., which I personally am a very big fan of. So now, where do you go from here? That is the biggest question in my book, because it can be, like, I'm wondering if it's all combo-based characters, and obviously every character has combos, but some rely on them more than others.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's something that teams have talked about. We talked to teams like Mississippi State and DePaul last year, and they said they felt like some of their strengths and why they felt like they were able to win a lot of their matchups was because they could cover so many matchups. They could play to different styles. They could play the rushdown combo characters, or they could play that, laid back projectile style if they needed to, and they could kind of pick and choose which matchups they wanted. So it's not necessarily bad to have 5 of the same type of character, but it means that you're going to get accumulated. You're going to get used to that matchup very quickly as the set goes on.
Yeah, this really does feel like the perfect counter to Niagara University. Triple heavies, that it's never a good sign. I mean, especially when you just have more and more opportunities to run through them. It's lucky it's not a traditional crew battle format, because with these combo heavy characters, any one of these combo heavy Iona players would just run right through them.
Yeah, it would be. It's a terrifying prospect. Acclimated, that was the word I was looking for. But it's also interesting too, because we've seen now 3 Bowsers, like you said, but there are other characters in Niagara's roster. I mean, we even saw last week. A little bit different, but Crispy, the second Bowser we saw last week, he went to Incineroar, so a little bit of a different character, but. Along the line here, we saw from last week, they've got more of these combo characters rather than heavy, tanky characters like Jenny XC on the Corrin, Percy on that Greninja. So maybe something down the line here, we get to see a little bit more of a different style from the Purple Eagles.
Yeah, and I hope we really do, because I did like definitely that Corrin coming out. There was some nice stuff there, some nice setups on ledge. But compared to some of the other Corrins in the league, it can be hard to compare. But I definitely do like the reliance on disjoints, because if you're going to go for a neutral-based character, online. I would rather you have some disjoints to play the range game rather than banking it all on one big heavy hit.
Yeah, and I agree too. I was actually very excited to see Corrin, or at least Jenny's Corrin, because Corrin is a character that we really haven't seen a lot of, especially here in the EGF. I think that was actually one of the first Corrins to make an appearance. So if you can really, get very proficient with Corrin's combos and learn the spacing of it, it could be a very big throw-off for a lot of players that don't really see this character.
Yeah, and what options Corrin has. I feel like the uppie out of shield, and the uppie in general as a surprise burst option for those who don't expect you to attack from below, is huge. It's such a good tool. It's a kill move. It sends straight up. Most of Corrin's moves send straight up, but it's just amazing. For some people, it's just the soul character, you know?
Yeah, no, and on top of that, too, you have that back air, which is, surprisingly strong. It doesn't look like the strongest move if they're just kind of throwing it out, but once it hits you, the fact that it pushes Corrin away from stage, so it's harder to punish, it is something that it takes a lot of proficiency to really master, and so we get to see it here against Pikachu here in round 4.
Oh man, I've seen some good Pikachus in the past few days, so I'm scared, especially with these nice starters, but some good DI right there from Jenny XC to avoid the initial starter. But I love just pressuring on the platform without going up there and leaving yourself open to a punish. This Corrin is going to eat the hit, but nice movement with the side B right there to get the reversal, making Loser eat up some percent. The dash attack is going to send them off stage, and now the Thunder again, not going to connect with the spike hitbox, but still using Pikachu's ability to throw out constant hitboxes to really stack up the pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I initially liked that side beat, but couldn't quite follow up on it. And this is going to be the trouble for Jenny, is how do they catch Loser out? Because Pikachu is just so fast and has so many options. But once they can get in, they can do some damage. And Pikachu is a light character, will die early.
Yeah, especially if you're able to bait that counter on a platform. That's a very good kill move, but I love that interruption right there. Just a little bit of fallout right there. Baited Jenny AXC into an aerial, and then you were in too much lag to fully recover. Very nice.
And on top of that, just unfortunately pineappling. So Loser, good early lead here. And at 77, Jenny's got some work cut out for them. And now Loser taking center stage. Ambitious side B, but it will allow for this early combo.
As Loser is avoiding the main low percent combos, but just winning off of bread and butters again and again and again. Going for the read right there, or the punish rather, on the down air, but now you have a good option. I like the idea to run off right there, but going for the forward smash is too hard of a punish, as now Loser has to find a different way to get the kill.
He's got Jenny off stage once again, and the other thing you have to look for and fear if you're Jenny is that Thunder. We saw it connect twice on that, or almost twice on that first stock, and I think Loser is kind of searching for it, but every time you're above Pikachu, it's got to be in the back of your mind.
Yeah, as we're going to see the dash attack almost finish the stock, and now they wanted that so badly, but a good air dodge from Jenny AXC is going to save them. Ooh, running away fully across the stage to avoid that down smash, and you're eventually going to finish off the stock with the dash attack. Loser could possibly get a 0 to death right here, but based on how their combo game is looking, I'm not saying it's likely. I think Jenny XC can do some work here.
Still has to find that strong hit though, and this could be the early combo starter, but could not connect it on that platform, so Loser surviving that forward smash is big for his stock.
Playing a real game of mousetrap right here, dropping down the cages from above. Canceling the up B actually right there is actually going to save their life. Not going to get caught by the multi-hit thanks to the trade. Now Jenny AXC is finally going to finish with the side B. It's 2 stocks to 1.
Yeah, that was good from Jenny, and we'd seen them throw out that that side B plenty of times, but right there finding the sweet spot. So connecting and getting that kill was everything for them to get themselves on the board.
Yeah, I really like that. Is now you get the down throw, sending them off stage, dragging them down with the forward air, keeping the pressure up, trying to interrupt the recovery, but not throwing enough T-Jolts to really get too much mileage, but it's still amazing coverage. It makes Jenny EXC consider every single position they take. As they go for the charge side B, that's a little disrespectful, but either way, it's not going to be punished, and the back air will still send them off stage regardless.
We've seen Loser throw out that side B a couple of times, but to no avail, hasn't quite landed yet. That back throw not going to be able to kill. That forward air drag down, nearly killing, but Jenny able to escape.
At this point, I think up throw would even kill. I'm not sure. Yeah, there we go. I was about to say, does Loser know about that? But yeah, definitely did. As they're going to be doing a little dash dance celebration, getting the consistent kill confirm online as they take yet more points for Iona College.
Yeah, that was another solid performance there. Loser showing his proficiency on the Pikachu, and couldn't quite connect the full combos that we know Pikachu is capable of. But it's hard, right? Some of them are frame tight, and especially with that platform, depending on the DI, things like that. Jenny didn't make it easy for those full combo extensions.
And I rarely give very specific criticism. It's usually always a little more vague, a little more philosophical. But if Loser did not fast fall their back airs, they would have so many more routes open, because Pikachu's back air is so little lag and it sends at a perfect angle at low percent so you can combo. And the fact that they're fast falling just makes it a little bit tougher to get any sort of follow-ups. I would love to see what Loser could do if they could just get those early percents out of the way, get them off stage, and then see what kind of skills they can dish out.
Yeah, and on top of that too, I actually really liked the fact that Loser was willing to go off stage for those edge guards. Like you saw, especially later on in that game one, they get the drag down forwarder. Now Jenny survived off of it, but it's something that we see a lot of here in the EGF is sometimes they'll land, some combo into a kill move on stage, but then they won't go off stage. They won't try and go clean up their stocks, whereas Loser was willing to go out there. And obviously Pikachu, a little bit better at edge guarding than a lot of characters in the cast, but that's something that, a lot of players we see just when a stock is so valuable in this format, why not go for that edge guard? Why not try and clean up that stock,
I do. And turning the page to the other player, I feel like Jenny EXC, the main mileage they got was from reversals. Out of combos, getting a side B, getting a surprise punish. And the reversals are nice, but if you're able to convert it to a little more, keep them in disadvantage a little longer, then you might be finding some more consistent kills. So I'll be keeping an eye on how those reversals turn out going into this second set.
Yeah, and so for game number 2 between Jenny and Loser, they're going to Smashville with that single platform there. I'm curious, does this make the combos a little easier for Loser?
I feel like it does. There's one place to tech chase. That's it. And one mix-up. Do you fall through the platform after you up B? Or do you land on it? Either way, there's still an opportunity for Loser to punish. Going for the drag down right there as they keep Jenny EXC in complete disadvantage. I love that idea right there, but the air dodge to ledge is going to get Jenny EXC safe and sound until they trade with a T-Jolt, and then they're grabbed, set right back into disadvantage.
Loser is just hounding Jenny right now. That up B is not going to do it. That down air should connect the kill, and that is a 0 to death on stock number 1 here.
Getting the back throw off stage, and they get the drag down as well. Oh, that's the jump eaten. Are they dead? Yeah, I don't think they're making it back at all. Jenny EXC. Oh no, that's a 0%, I say. Oh, and they almost jump right there, but the get up attack is going to get rid of the possibility of a JV. Now the down throw is going to open up some opportunities for up throws, and the down air as well. Like I said, Jenny EXC was getting mileage out of those reversals, but once you just stop the combo, let them go for the option and then punish them even harder, then the reversals are working completely against you. Loser, definitely some massive adaptation here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, only at 22% and just in control of the matchup right now. And I feel like a lot of it, too, is reading Jenny's defensive options, doing a lot of jumps. And, oh, speaking of jumps, losing one there, maybe keeping them alive? Not for the moment. Both will fall, but it is still loser's set.
I know it's over, but going off stage right there did lose you a point, loser. You gotta play lame. You gotta stay on stage. You gotta ledge trap. Unbelievable. Throwing away that point completely unnecessarily. Loser, a disappointment to their team. A true loser. They're going to be going out with a measly 7 points for their team. Or 6. Frankly, unacceptable in my eyes. But still building a massive lead off of that amazing performance right there. Really showing how you can deconstruct someone, especially towards the end. Like I said, we were seeing how the reverse reversals were coming into play, where Jenny EXE would go for a down air, go for an up B mid combo, and get punished so hard for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just gotta say, my heart skipped a beat on that third stock. He got that last hit of drag down back air, and I thought, oh no, not like this, not like this. But Jenny was able to get back, fought back hard on that last stock, but just unfortunately misspacing that back air too close to the ledge, not realizing they'd used their jump to do so, and fell a little bit earlier than expected. But again, these are kind of the building blocks for Niagara, right? We saw that this is week 2, so they're starting to get footage on themselves and see what they do when they are under pressure like this, and that's what they've got to look back on and study and see where they can go from here.
Meanwhile, for Iona College, it mostly feels like it's a day at the shooting range for them. It's just practice. And speaking of the shooting range, we're going to get Yaliso coming in here, running the me gunner against yet another heavy. Oh, no. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, this...
oh, no. Copyrighted character coming out here as Yaliso is going to get the immediate opening off of that. Oh, I love the movement as well. Online, they're hitting those amazing B reverses, flying around, as it's just so tricky to figure out where they're going to go, using the back air for perfect spacing wherever they want to be, leading Crisis around in a circle. And if you remember, Crisis was one of the players who did almost get a bit of a lead last time when Niagara University was playing, but I don't know how well you're going to do when Sans is here and he means business, literally.
Yeah, and on top of that too, Yaliso was one of the 2 players for Iona last week who got a set win, and so this is a tough matchup for Crisis. As you can tell, he is already at 108%. A little bit of a misplay there on the platform by Yaliso, but still really in control of the neutral here. Ganon really struggles with all these projectiles.
Yeah, and forcing an early recovery because you're just dropping the mine off stage is going to mean Crisis's stock is forfeited. And now you got the charge shot online, a good opener right there as you do go off stage. Not going to have the spike recovery, thankfully, but you're still going to keep Crisis off stage thanks to that charge shot. Now, it's going to be a forced regrab, but Yaliso is just going to let them back on, punish them with the dash back forward smash.
Yeah, Yaliso's spacing is really good, and Crisis, it feels like at times he's just kind of swinging for the fences, looking for an opening. Does have that down B to get back to center stage. This should be a punish, but he whiffs the grab. Couldn't quite track him down.
The lag shockingly low on that up B, and now you're going to whiff the forward tilt as a punish, and caught by the super missile right there. It's going to be your stock. 88% to 0 right now, as Yaliso is actually going to get caught by their own mine, sent off stage. An opportunity right here. One read off of a ledge trap, but you're going to get dash attacked instead. Now you're ledge trapped yourself.
Already at 60%. Those side Bs are so scary with those missiles flying in. Even the up B spacing, that's dangerous. Is able to grab the ledge, but can he make it back? Look at the ledge trapping.
It's just covering every option. The platform's covered. You have to land on the other side to avoid the mine, but that's exactly where Yaliso is waiting with the up air, and it's just frustrating. Missile after missile flying your way. An endless military arsenal just being deployed straight into your face is all you want to do is get back into the stadium, but you're sent right out, evicted into the corner with another 3-stock from Iona College. Yaliso keeping up their end of the bargain right here as they serve as the anchor for Iona College.
Yeah, trying to make back that 1 point that loser could not clean up, but still, Yaliso either way looking fantastic on the me gunner, and really that was just, I mean, from Halo, it felt like he knew exactly the game plan he wanted to execute. He said, "Okay, heavy character with a sword, slow, can't get in. All right, I'm gonna play my game. I'm just gonna send those missiles his way and see what he does," and just fantastic control over the matchup from start to finish.
And I think what Yaliso caught on to is how they like to go for the side B as a recovery option. You can't do that at all. It forces one option from you, and when you know they're going low, you have time to set up a little bit more ledge trapping, put the mine on the platform, or right at ledge, cover neutral get up, or jump. Either way, it just gives you more time when you can't go for any mix-ups whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is going to be the difficulty here in game number 2 for Crisis. He has just got to find a way in. And Ganondorf, that is the thing he struggles with the most, right? Once he gets in, like we pointed out last week, he only needs 2 or 3 hits to get you to that kill percent. But that was the struggle, was he could not find those 2 or 3 hits. It took him, he got 2 or 3 hits per stock, and it was just time and time again that he was getting outraged.
Yeah, it was honestly impeccable, and I love the way that Iona College's Yaliso managed to make Me Gunner feel like such a mobile character. With the reverse charge shots coming off a platform, just moving around with the back air, which actually does push you a la Corrin's back air, it just really makes you unpredictable. It makes you faster. And when your opponent is coming at you way faster than you expect, you throw up a panic option, you throw up a panic guard, and that's going to get punished.
Yeah, absolutely. And you saw it time and time again, too, because like we pointed out, just no way for Crisis to get in. So when you have that back air that, and on top of, also, you pointed out the reverse charge shots, even the things like the, the down B, the mine, the drop mine, even those you reversed a couple of to pressure Crisis on the ledge. So just really good job by Yaliso showing his expertise in the character.
And one thing I did see again and again and again is you usually think of charge shot as a kill move, and that's what a lot of people use it for, especially at a mid-level, but using it at just 20% to give yourself, 1, a massive percentage lead, and 2, stage control was massive for Yaliso. Twice that game, they caught their neutral get-up with a charge shot from across the stage and finished them off. Now we're going to see a little bit of a different character. Hits like a heavy, dies like a floating. It's Zelda.
Yeah, and so this is one, I feel like the game plan here for Crisis is, okay, if I'm just going to get, projectile after projectile after projectile, then the game plan here is Zelda's got that neutral B, it's a reflector, and it's also kind of a get-off-me tool.
Yeah, they're not walking into any of Yaliso's nonsense whatsoever. So, Yaliso just goes right into scrap. They're like, okay, you're not going to approach me? Fine, I'll do it myself. As they go right in there. They're going to get smacked by the Phantom Sword Fighter just a little bit, but it's still not enough. As, again, the weird way they're changing their momentum mid-air just makes it so difficult for Crisis to know when to deploy that neutral B.
Yeah, and you can see Crisis a couple of these up Bs already, and it is one of Zelda's kill moves, but Yaliso nowhere near that percentage, so it's, again, another kind of get-off-me tool that Crisis is using.
And I like that right there. Crisis is going to have that fully set up, giving them stage control for the time being, but Yaliso takes it right on back. Now, hanging out on ledge, having a hard time really getting any sort of kill setup. Maybe trying to start fishing for a charge shot, but their projectiles are finding it tough to get through Zelda's walls.
And then again, escaping with that up B and back to neutral. Ooh, I actually like that catch once again on the up B, but that's a lot of use of that recovery move. So I feel like Yaliso is starting to catch on.
Yeah, you saw them go for the read right there. The spacing wasn't quite there, but it still was a sign of life. As we're not seeing that so much on the first stock. A Crisis going a little too low, but getting the reverse hitbox right there is going to mean that Yaliso lives to fight another day.
And again, recovering on stage, getting punished, and I feel like Crisis is focusing a little too much on these special moves. He's got to find a way in and do some damage in neutral, but it just feels like Yaliso, he's going to play his game and play to the corners of the stage.
Yeah, at this point, Yaliso has fully caught on. Going for the up air under stage right there. Now we're seeing some more aerials, some more close-up brawling out of nowhere coming from Crisis, but it was a little sloppy and a little too late as they're going to be finished off right there.
So Crisis on his last stock. Yaliso still trying to hold on, get that 3 stock, and get his team above that 30-point mark. And now he's got the grab and Zelda off stage. And a lot of pressure around the corner once again, but just kind of waiting for Crisis to make a move.
Yes, now Yaliso on stage. They're not able to avoid the spike, and the recovery, though, is saved by Crisis. The little helping hand right there is going to go a long way to hurt you until you're able to get the up B into center stage, finally finishing the stock. But how many more times is that option going to pan out? You got to find some more stuff. And based on what Crisis is dishing out, I'm not sure they've had it right here, right now in this game.
I feel like all of the projectiles have just kind of made Crisis paranoid of, all right, which one's going to come out next? I have to reflect it. And he's so tunnel visioned on it between that and the up B that he's not thinking about trying to get a combo starter here.
Yeah, now I don't even know what you would go for as you're trying so hard to space carefully, but you run into the forward smash now. Yaliso does have them on ledge. I'm expecting an up B off the ledge, and I'm sure they are too, but that's not a projectile. You think it might be, but the bullets, they run right through your armor. As the reflector does nothing, Yaliso takes the stock, and it's a 2 stock. The victory was already cemented. Iona College gets a massive total of points in a frankly dominant display against Niagara College.
Yeah, another huge win here, and Iona 33 over Niagara. They get shut out once again, which, again, it hurts for the Purple Eagles to be shut out back-to-back weeks, but 33 is a massive, massive point lead. Remember, the maximum amounts of points you can get is if you get 8s from each of your players, that's 40. So they were 7 stocks away from being able to perfect sweep the Purple Eagles. That is one of the more higher point deficits we've seen in the EGF. So great stuff to the Iona Gales, and it feels like for them the sky's the limit with their characters.
Yeah, Iona is looking like a danger for many players, for many teams in the EGF. Between the combo fiends of Moat and Kibbs rocking their fast rushdown characters, whereas Kibbs was very aggressive off stage and very aggressive with their combos, Moat was very cautious, playing the footsies game just like Yaliso on the Mii Gunner, except a little more with a touch of death rather than an array of little gadgets being dropped out. And of course, Rat King and Loser with a couple more unorthodox characters. Not that fighting game characters aren't that unorthodox. Still, a lot of different ways to win from Iona, as they demonstrated again and again and again against Niagara University.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other part I have to commend about them this week was their adaptation mid-set. It felt like they came in with a game plan, and then when Niagara sort of thwarted that game plan, they were able to adjust. And it's one thing to adjust between games, it's another thing to do it while you are playing, while you are down a stock. So fantastic stuff from Iona to adapt to their character matchups while in game.
Yeah, and we're going to be able to ask them a little bit more about that and their plans for the rest of EGF, because we're going to get a little bit of a winner's interview right after this quick break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more EGF. Welcome back, everybody, to the EGF. We're coming right here after Iona College's massive victory over Niagara University, talking with the captain of Iona College. We've got Kibbs here with us. How you doing, Kibbs?
I'm feeling really good after that game. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine as well. That was a dominant performance. And for you personally, I want to ask, you are the captain, correct?
Yes.
So what was the mentality behind sending you out first?
So the mentality behind it is because originally our first game, we were really going through that traditional crew battle mindset where we'd put our strongest players last, and then our kind of like our more middling players first, just so we can because we expected to play better plays at the end. But this time I discussed it with my coach, and I was like, Well, given the format, if I put myself and then our best player like 1 and 2, and we can just dominate them game 1 and 2, then what's the harm in starting off, like we did 15-16 or 17-0?
Yeah. That dominant performance did give you a massive lead, and we are definitely talking about that. I think it was a nice call overall.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you went in first, I guess you saw a character select screen. You saw you were going up against the DK. What kind of went through your mindset seeing that matchup, or DK and then Bowser?
Oh, I was so excited. I play Captain Falcon. I'm the heavy destroyer. As soon as I saw the DK, I was like, I'm just gonna get my bread and butters. I'm gonna stomp him a lot. I'm gonna just do whatever I can and just string him.
Well, string him you did. String him right up is how it ended up going. And again, very dominant performance from all of your players. And so I've got to ask, you seem like you said, you're putting your strongest players first, but it didn't seem like you had as much of a weak spot. But like, what is your sort of practice schedule? Like, what do you all focus on when you're trying to hone your skills warming up for the match?
So basically, especially starting last week, when we were playing in the tournament, I set up just like my notebook, and I just took notes on everybody's gameplay. And then that next week in practice, I discussed that with everyone, and we all sat down and we were trying to hone the skills. And like for me, I press a lot of buttons and I fight ghosts a lot, and that's my own issue. So throughout the week, I was working on, not just constantly pressing buttons, not constantly holding forward. And for some of our other players, they would sometimes play too patient. So I would literally sit at one edge of the stage and have them run up to me and try to work on being an offensive instead of a defensive player. So it really is cherry picked for each person. And there's no one objective training regiment that we have.
Yeah, and I think that's a good kind of style to adapt, especially since a lot of the points are in those 1v1 sets. I guess my next question is, you've got a roster that's got quite a lot of depth to it. What do you think is your biggest strength as an organization?
Honestly, I think our biggest strength is adaptability, and especially I think that we saw that today when we had this gameplay in mind, where we all thought it was going to be like that different variety of players. I actually watched Niagara's set on YouTube, and I wrote notes on all these characters because I saw Zelda, I saw Game & Watch, I saw Olimar, and I gave them all these notes, and I told them, start thinking about how you're going to play this Game & Watch, how you're going to play this Olimar, how you're going to play this Greninja, Zelda, whatever. And then we come in, and then it's Bowser and Zelda and
a whole lot of heavies
and Donkey Kong and all these.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that we were able to adapt to that, especially considering that we were in the mindset of we're playing a lot of lightweights, we're playing a lot of floaty characters, so keep that in mind with combos and whatnot. The fact that we were able to adapt that and switch that into the heavy mindset, I feel like was definitely our biggest strength today.
Yeah, I'm really glad to hear it. And it showed in the scoreline, in your gameplay, everything was clean. So thank you very much, and congratulations on the win. Good luck in the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
And with that, we're going to wrap up for the time being, but don't go anywhere. You can stretch your legs, you can get a drink of water, but we will be back at about 6:10 with another EGF match. So I'll see you then.